Hey, Steph.
Hey, Destiny. Hey, what's up, you guys? It's your girl, Steph. Welcome to a new episode 2 of Dialogues with Steph. And I have a special guest today. Okay. It is my bestie, Destiny. You guys have probably heard me and Destiny discuss many topics before on my original channel, as well as on her channel, which is...
I have like multiple channels. So Destiny Crystal DK Hair Tips, Creative Hour, and then Naked Liaison.
Yeah, so you guys go and subscribe and tell her to drop content. Okay? But today we're going to be talking about how our parents failed us. And this is a deep topic, very touchy. Definitely a topic that causes us to be vulnerable. And bear with us. We're going to drop a little bit of tea, I don't know, maybe a lot of you guys can relate to this, so.
A lot of droplets of tea.
Yeah.
Where does one start?
I'll start with this, and I think that we both can relate on this, but I want to say, like, the first time that I felt like, at least as an adult, when I look back into my childhood, that my parents failed me was when they got a divorce. And it wasn't really necessarily the divorce. It was how they went about the divorce. And that was like, it was ugly.
Yeah.
It was ugly. It was messy. And, me and my sister say this a lot. Like, their hate for each other was more than the love for their kids. Ooh. And so, yeah, we felt that for many years.
That's a word.
Yeah.
That's a word. Parental hate for each other being communicated to your children as more than how much you actually love me is the precedence for the rest of your children's life. And the fact that you ignore that will make your child believe and understand that you don't care about their existence.
Yeah. And
everything that they do after that will show. The fruit that they bear will show the lack of understanding or the lack of the love that you actually had for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, coming out the gate hot.
I
mean, I feel like let me actually think about this. I feel like the first time was probably when I first came back to America from Nigeria. And I think that was the first time I actually saw my mom and my dad like arguing. They hadn't divorced yet, but they were arguing, and I just remember being in the bathroom just crying in the midst of this argument. I mean, like, I was crying so hard that if I felt like my body was drenched in sweat. And that moment has never left my brain. Just crying. I was on the phone with my grandma, and I'm like, yeah, they're fighting, and I don't know why they're fighting. And I think at that point I didn't even know how to speak English because I had just come back from Nigeria, so I was like saying it in Igbo.
Were you born in Nigeria?
No.
Okay, because I was gonna say
I was born here. Yeah.
Okay.
I was born in Culver City, but they sent me back when I was really little, so I like learned the language. But I think in that moment I just felt so distraught and confused because my spirit naturally doesn't do well with chaos or discord. Like, even when, as an adult now, even when I have an issue with someone, I don't like that feeling, and I will look for a way to apologize.
You don't. That's so true.
I will literally find a way for us to be peaceful. Even if I tell you you made me upset, after that I'm gonna be like, okay, but I'm sorry.
Right.
You didn't have a problem. So I think even as a child, like, my spirit was just so uncomfortable with like the discord or the dislike that was the energy that was flowing through the house at that moment, that I just felt failed without even knowing that I was being failed by my parents. Because why would you even fight in front of me?
Right.
Why would you not think, you know what, my child is here, let me actually not even argue.
Right.
Let me just make peace with my wife. Let me just make peace with my husband because my child is here. At least for the sake of the child, let me be at peace and let it go.
Yeah.
And you know what? Now that we're having this conversation...
That's the part. Let it go.
Now that we're having the conversation, this might be why it's hard for me to let a lot of things go. Release, surrender power to God. Release, surrender any issues that you're having and just let it go. Let go of bad relationships. Let go of toxic situations.
Come on, prophet.
Because there's that pivotal moment when I was a child where I just thought, like, why can't they just let this go? Like, I'm not upset. Why are you guys upset? Yeah, so I think that's probably when, I didn't even know until today that that's probably when I feel like my parents ever first failed me.
Yeah, you know what though? I was just thinking too, like, because you know we're both Nigerian, and when I think about our parents arguing, even getting a divorce, etc, and just that environment, is just like, because I've also, long story for another day, but I have definitely been experiencing some type of violence or arguing, and it doesn't feel good. And so I think about their upbringing and how violent it actually is.
A word.
Which is why, you know, as much as sometimes I do fault them for not seeing the bigger picture, which would be your family, your children, like, what is this saying and what is this translating? I just also remember, like, this is all they know. How do we expect them to operate outside of things that they don't know?
1000%. Like, my mom used to tell me stories about how, like, my grandpa would flug her, and it would just be like this, like, expanded process of flogging. And in his mind, he's thinking, well, I'm disciplining my child. And in her mind, she's thinking, wow, my dad actually really hates me. You know what I mean? And
that's deep.
Because there wasn't any sense of awareness in terms of, like, mental and emotional understanding of your behaviors and how it impacts your physical. Our parents didn't grow up thinking that what they were doing was as a result of what they went through. They were doing it thinking, I'm trying to just do the best I can with what I have for my children.
Yeah.
Like, in their minds, they're convinced.
Yeah.
Till today. This is exactly why you will never get an apology from a Nigerian parent. Because they are convinced that what they did was in your best interest.
Yeah.
No matter how you, the receiver, experienced it.
Exactly. You hit that on the nail. And I feel like that's one thing my dad doesn't know how to do, is apologize.
Never. Apologize for what?
My dad, and I've had a sit down conversation with my dad.
Girl.
I have expressed, yo, this, that, and a third. You was moving mad. I don't understand, like, etc. And literally not an apology. And I really had to sit down and think, like, yes, you're moving mad, but nobody ever apologized to you. How would you know how to do it? Yeah. But my issue is that I'm now telling you, where's the openness to try? And that's the part where I'm like, you're still failing.
Yeah. Like, even till today, you're still failing because I'm showing you the guidebook. I'm giving you the manuscript. All you have to do is
I'm giving you the language.
And you're refusing.
You're refusing to.
Because you know, you're smart, you're intelligent. Any Nigerian person that can finish surviving in Nigeria and then make it all the way to America, you're smart, you have sense.
Yeah.
So I know that when I'm saying to you, you know
you
what
understand.
I'm talking about. Yes, you understand. You just refuse.
You refuse. Why are you refusing and rejecting? Love. It's love.
Yo.
Nah.
Yeah, my dad doesn't even understand what is apology.
Yeah, what is it? What is,
he has never
what is
done
sorry?
anything wrong to anybody. As a matter of fact, you're the issue. You should be apologizing to him.
That's so crazy to me. Like, I am the child. You are the parent. You are the leader.
I feel like our Nigerian parents from our generation, they are under the impression that they gave birth to adults. Like, I feel like they pulled us out of the womb like, oh, you're grown and you can take care of yourself. No, I am your child. That means helpless. That means confused. That means lost. That means I need guidance. And it's always going to be like that forever.
Forever. You don't stop being a parent. You never stop being a parent. A parent is a lifelong thing. At least that's what I think it is.
You're thinking correctly. It is a lifelong thing.
It's a lifelong thing. I remember like I was watching this random video on Instagram, and the dad had got a ticket, so he went to court. But the dad's super old. He's like in his 70s, right? And so he's explaining to the judge, like, yeah, I got this ticket for speeding, but sir, I wasn't speeding. Like, I was taking my son, who's 50, who has cancer, to his appointment. And it's just like, you never stop being a parent. Your kid gets sick, even if they're 40, 50, you want to be there for them. And I don't know why there's such a disconnect. I mean, I understand, but then there's just other portions that I'm like, we're in different times now. I feel like you should actually try. I can't give you an excuse as to why you're still failing. I gave you excuses when I was younger, but now we're at a space where I can even tell you how I feel, what the issue is, and how to fix it. And you still blatantly disregard and continue with your life. Wow.
I feel like it causes actually more harm to be the child that is obedient to God enough to even try to reason with failing parents and parents who just don't want to hear word. And I say that because the more you try to explain to them, like, okay, so this is what happened, this is how I feel like you did this, and I just need you to apologize for it. The more you try to do that and the more they resist, it almost feels like you're digging a bigger hole for yourself to be disobedient to God. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like you're now beginning to foster this feeling of animosity towards someone that you should be actually just like praying for or interceding for, or just being a neutral point of understanding for. Yeah.
I definitely do believe in the fact that God's timing will make sense. So sometimes you are called to speak and say what you need to say and tell them the truth. Right. And there's some times where this is not the time. Just let them rock. Just let them rock. I will handle it. And so being in tune with the Lord will help you decipher how to maneuver that space, because I've definitely been in spaces where I've wanted to go off, but I literally could not, because I knew that was not what I was supposed to do.
Bam. For real.
But, you know, it's funny because when I compare and contrast both of my parents, my mom is more open. Yeah. My mom's more apologetic. My mom is more open to listening. My mom's she's just to me, a better parent, a parent who's actually progressive. My dad.
Nigerian men,
I feel like there's a curse on them. There's a curse on Nigerian men.
The words are right out of my mouth. Because the consistency of lack of accountability, infidelity, disrespect,
abuse, mentally, emotionally, and physically.
The consistency is mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Rich, poor, great family, bad family, consistency, they will show those characteristics. Why? I really feel like it's a curse. And it's almost one of those curses that you can't avoid by simply using your sense.
Yeah.
You truly cannot lean on your own understanding. Yeah. You have to go into prayerful warfare against it. No, I'm serious.
No, I know that you're
because
serious.
A marriage or a partnership or a sister and brother relationship with a Nigerian man, or a daughter and father relationship, any type of relationship you're trying to cultivate with a Nigerian man without the hands of God on top of it, that Nigerian man will use you to worry abacha. Do you know what that means? Like, he will use you to make and mix the abacha with effrontery and focus.
Yeah.
Only God.
Only God.
Only
and it's
God.
so funny that you say that, because I don't even talk to my brother right now. My oldest brother. I think he's the oldest brother. I do not talk to him right now, and I haven't talked to him in a while. And it's because he's stubborn, selfish, and it's funny because he is very God-fearing, but I'm just like, what type of God-fearing you fearing? Because ain't the way you moving, you need some deliverance.
Yeah, there's a difference between fearing God and being arrested by God. Because growing up in Nigeria, one thing you gonna have is a fear of God, because the way Nigeria is set up, only God is ruling that land. But when God arrests you, there's a different type of obedience that you follow. That it's not just gonna be basic fear of God. Like, you're reverencing God. You have a respect. You treat people based on what God would actually do.
Yeah, it's frustrating though, because it's like, I mean, like, what do you do? And it's like, I know the answer to that. It's like a rhetorical question. Like, of course, get on my knees, pray about this, actually be very intentional about, the things that I'm seeing and things that I feel. But it's very discouraging, because it's like, here I have a feeling, and I feel all these things, and this person is moving this way from a father figure. And then there's this on this other side, and this is a brother figure.
Right.
And you guys are all men in my life that are literally showing up the complete opposite of what I would expect, but really what I think God would expect from y'all.
Exactly what God expects from them. That's the thing. The solution, honestly, because I like to be practical as well as spiritual, along with prayer, I feel like that's the first step. Definitely pray for them, intercede in a way that, like, your life depends on it. Like, now when I pray for the men in my life, I pray as if, even if they don't ever speak to me again a day in their lives, let it be that God does that work for them. Not even me. I don't even want the results. Like, don't have a relationship with it. In fact, I would prefer if God did it literally isolated you just for them. But the second part, I feel like, to the solution is learning when to let go in a way that isn't filled with animosity or anger, but is just filled with the peace of God that surpasses understanding. Like,
I like that.
I've tried, right? You had the conversation. Like, I remember this one time, I was really young too. And this is how I know that, like, I'm really not a problem seeker. Like, I really just don't like problems. Because I was like, I want to say I was 12 or 13 or 14, around those ages, 12, 13, 14. But my parents are obviously divorced, and at this point, like, my stepmom was in the picture, my dad remarried.
Of course, they always so quick to remarry.
Girl. And I think they had been remarried for a while at this point, but I was just like, there's no reason why we should all be fighting. Like, it doesn't make any sense. We should all just be cool. Like, you know what, how I'm gonna start is, I'm just gonna start with my dad. I'm gonna go to lunch with him, and I'm just gonna have a conversation with him. I just feel like we can build a relationship. Why not? He can still be like my nigga. Like, he can still be my dude. You feel me? Regardless of whether or not he's married to my mom, or regardless of whether or not he has a new wife. Oh my gosh, vividly, this is like low-key therapeutic, because I'm like drudging up memories that I low-key suppressed. But I remember this day, I was like, oh yeah, Dad, I don't know what you're doing today, but we should go to IHOP, because I was really into like IHOP's pancakes back then. We should go to IHOP and just have like lunch and just talk. And he was like confused, like he looked at me perplexed, and I'm like, wait, did I say something incorrect? Is it not just regular lunch,
right, with your daughter,
right?
Like...
And he was like, okay, like, sure, what do you want to talk about? I was like, huh, what do you mean? I was like, nothing, I don't want to talk about anything, I just want us to just hang out. Yeah. So again, that even shows you like how foreign it is to them to think that they're doing something for no reason. But there is a reason. You just can't see the reason right now because it's a lifelong thing.
Yes.
It's not just a couple of days here and there.
Yes.
It's someone's life in your hands.
Right.
And he was like, yeah, sure, we can go, but you know, my wife has to come. And I'm like, honestly, I don't mind if she comes. Like,
I don't know why that response just made me tight right now, because it's like, Dad, I want to spend time with just you and me. And I'm not trying to exclude her, but I'm your child.
So in that moment, I was like, honestly, like, I truly, sincerely, I was not pressed because my stepmom, like, no, I had no issues with her at that point. I don't think, like, I wasn't really thinking of her as an issue. I thought of her as definitely like someone who probably, if she wasn't around, like my parents would still be together, but that's what you think when you're a child. You don't know any better. But I was like, yeah, no, I just wanted it to just be the two of us, you know, because she's normally always around anyway. Just this one time, let it be the two of us. And he was like, nah, like, if she's not coming, I'm not going.
Wow, that's so wild.
So I gave this anecdote to give that you have to get to a point where that happens enough that you can no longer keep destroying yourself for something that God has explicitly shown you that it's like, it's done. Yeah. And it's not done in a way that like, oh, you dislike this person or you start drudging up hate. It's done in a way that like, you no longer have to keep trying to carry or mend or put the puzzle pieces together because it's in God's hands now. He has control over it.
Right.
One. And two, the more you try to control it, the more hurt you're going to be.
That's facts.
And then guess what? You're going to start suffering. The person who's hurting you, living their best life.
Period.
My dad gonna be over there living his best life, traveling, hanging out with his wifey. And I'm over here just boiling, just upset. Why you mad, Craig? Why you mad? You see what I mean? So the solution really is to just get to a place of surrendering it to God and letting go.
Yeah, but that, I mean, like, that's tough at the age of 12 and 13 because at 12 and 13, I mean, I'm sure you knew God, but you knew God on a very probably very basic level.
It wasn't this deep.
And vice versa. And it's
Stephanie,
just like,
what are we talking about? I'm 30 and it's still hard.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, even then, it's just like at 13, how do I even conceptualize that this is something that I need to let go? Like, you're my parent. Like, I literally still depend on you. What do you mean that we cannot hang out? That doesn't make any sense.
I was so upset. But listen, that anger destroyed me, not him.
I understand that. I literally understand everything you're saying. I guess I'm just saying, like, you know, for 12-year-olds out there, not that they probably gonna be listening to this, but it's just like, there's just no way that you're even thinking about that, you know? You're not even matured enough to think about that. You're literally just like, I'm hurt and like, this is actually really painful and wow.
Like,
you really got me bent.
You got me.
You can get snatched up in these streets for real.
Because actually never gonna ask you to go
ever
anywhere again.
Ever again. And you know what's funny? I have like a kind of like similar story. So when my parents divorced, there was very much so, we was in the courts all the time. And this is also like so traumatic, but we used to go over my dad's every other weekend and we would have to like, they would have to meet up at the police station in order for this to happen every other weekend. And sometimes my dad, instead of using the weekend that he had with us, we would have to go visit him and his girlfriend, do whatever him and his girlfriend wanted to do. And so I just think about how selfish, and I'm not saying that, okay, yes, you guys have now separated. Now you have this life of where maybe you're trying to meet somebody else that you're trying to be compatible with. And, you know, you're trying to find a companionship, etc, etc. But like, you moving mad.
You put your girlfriend before responsibilities for your children. How?
That's crazy. Girls. And then complain that, oh, I only get you for a weekend. If you got us longer than a weekend, we would be living with your girlfriend at this point.
It would be when I say me, I mean me as a Stephanie and my sister Lady and you. Where you at, Dad?
Yeah, so I don't know. Also, too, my dad, and I know it sounds like I've been talking about my dad a lot, but really it's because he's the most disappointing parent out of both of them. Like, he's the most disappointing. He still disappoints me till today, and that's the issue.
That shit's crazy.
But my dad, I really had to look at him as I got older. I want to say recently, maybe in 2020, when I had a conversation with him, I was like, oh wow, nah, you dead ass need prayer, because this is like beyond words. Because I'm sitting here telling you like, hey, you're having more kids, you're practically 70, and you're with someone else now, and you used to be with somebody else a couple years ago, and you just had a child. And I haven't met my other older brother. I have never met him. You don't know where he's at. You're moving mad. Where is your leadership? As a man, as the quote unquote head of the household, whatever household, where's your leadership? And when I tell you that his response made no sense,
It won't.
his response was, oh, well, I always wanted to have like 6 kids. Are you okay? You're not okay. Of course you're not okay.
So you just want to just only care about yourself. You want to have 6 kids that you don't care about.
That's literally facts.
Like what?
Anything that I noticed that a pattern in my dad is that anything that promotes longevity of responsibility, running
Run.
from.
Run.
Lock the door.
That's my dad.
I'm finna throw away the key because I don't even want to look back.
I don't like, actually, don't even say the word around me, because if you do that, I'm going to throw up on myself. No, like for real. And I feel like I learned this maybe when I was in my senior year in high school. Like, I was like, dang, like, my dad really doesn't like to have too many responsibilities.
That's so crazy to me, because do you know how responsible you have to be an immigrant to come to the U.S.?
Please.
With your children's?
With your children.
You have to have some type of responsibility. So what happened? No, deadass. This is actually a real spiritual question. What happened when they crossed them borders? What changed? What in the atmosphere caused them to literally fumble?
Or do you think that they carried whatever spiritual whatever that was following them in Nigeria to just here, but it's just that the system here exposes it more? Because the thing with Nigeria is that the culture there really does protect men and their idiocracy. You can have a Nigerian man just doing whatever he wants to, because the woman has been bred and brought up to be responsible, be reliable, and do what she needs to do to make sure that her family eats. She kind of covers up and it's pushed behind what the man is lacking in or he's not doing. But the way America is set up,
ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. You pushing,
I'm pushing.
Right.
You pulling, I'm pulling.
And whatever you not doing, we see right through it.
We will buy their fruits. You know them in America. Because there's no way to hide behind the elders in the village. There's no way to hide behind, it's just the way men behave. No, that's not how it works in this country.
Right.
So I think that they carried whatever spirit of irresponsibility that they were thriving with in Nigeria, brought it here, but the system doesn't promote that. Like,
that makes a lot of sense.
Especially as an immigrant, because immigrants, we want so much for ourselves. We want to be the best this and the best that and the best this. So if you're supposed to be following the line of the best this and the best that, and you can't even be the best parent to your children, which by the way is also your legacy to continue what you did in America, it will be exposed. Period.
That's deep. That's mad deep. They're embarrassing. They are absolutely embarrassing. Nah, they embarrassing. That's the fact. They're very much so embarrassing. To the point that, and like, forgive me for what I'm about to say, but like, it's not coming from a malicious place, but I grew up not feeling like I ever really wanted to settle down with a Nigerian man. Because of what I've seen. And not that I'm crucifying people who have nothing to do with, you know, my dad and my household and stuff like that. But it just, it was giving curse.
Yeah, it's giving I don't want this. If this is what it is, I don't want
I don't want no parts with it.
Right. I think I went through like phases. Like when I was really young, I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely about to be with a white man. For sure. Especially because I grew up getting picked on by African American boys, and then like the
one day we got to
boys.
talk about that.
Girl.
We got to talk about how we're really the real African Americans. And we got bullied for being African American. Wow.
Like,
that's crazy. Being African.
We
from Africa in America. We have to have a whole conversation about that.
But yeah, and then like I went to Nigeria with my older sisters when I was like in college or after college. While in college, after college, and I was like, oh, Nigerian men are actually like my tea. Like, you know, I could rock with this. But then, like, I went into a relationship with a Nigerian man, like a core Nigerian man, and I was like, wow, they're demonic.
I really don't think that, you know what's so funny? When Nigerian men try to talk to me, at least in the past, I be laughing because I'm like, I'm not gonna abide by your rules, and so therefore you shouldn't even waste your time because you're gonna think I'm disrespecting you when really I'm just being myself.
No, I think that again, prayer is the master key.
Prayer is the master.
Because I'm not gonna cap, every single Nigerian man I've met or young man, whether it be born here or born in Nigeria, they have always had the same trend
of course, that's their fathers.
Exactly.
That's their fathers.
It ties back to their fathers.
And I've dated a lot. I've dated more Nigerian men than I have like just American black guys.
I think I talked to like one American man, and it was rough.
It be busted for me, but that's because, you know, you went back to Nigeria when you were like a kid. Younger, still. Right, so right. This is majority of what I know. And so I've been around black guys all my life.
You know, I do feel like there are Nigerian guys out there though. Most recently, I started believing that there are Nigerian guys out there that are kind, that are thoughtful.
Of course.
But because not up until last year that I believed they existed. I was convinced that they did not exist.
Yeah, I mean, I've known that they've existed. I feel like, you know, granted, relationships ended, but like I've had a few fair shares of dating a good Nigerian man or a Nigerian man who had potential. But it's just not for me. Like, that lifestyle is just not for me.
They really carry a spirit of deception. And
my thing is a spirit of anger. I don't like to raise my voice. I don't like to argue. When I get upset, I actually say nothing.
Me too.
I can maybe type you some things, but like, I'm not going to verbally I don't like chaos.
I hate chaos.
I'm actually traumatized by the things that I've seen. So therefore, I don't even want to be in the midst of it.
As soon as I get upset, I shut down.
Literally.
I think I was in one relationship with a Nigerian dude that brought out like a lot of like chaos out of me, and after that I said never again.
Energy.
No, I don't have the energy. Zero. I'm on E, my dude. But yeah, I think the solution really is prayer and just letting go. Like, and what does that look like? It looks like if said parent hits me up, I'm not going to ignore the call because I feel like you failed me. I acknowledge that you failed me. I will answer the call, and whatever that's within my parameters, I will do. And if it's outside of my parameters, I will not do, because chances are the only reason why a failed parent would be reaching out to you because they need something. They never actually reach out just to be like, oh, hey, what's up?
Yo, real quick. I remember there was a time my dad said, yeah, you know, he was talking to me and my sisters, two of my sisters. He said, yeah, you guys are going to build a house for me in Nigeria. I said, with what money? What foundation did you leave behind that you think that I'm on top of the world like that to build you a home? Where's my home? Because you owe me one. You owe me a home. And he low-key kind of got upset, and I'm just like, I'm never going to lie to you ever, because I feel like I gave my dad so much grace. So much grace that I think that in his head,
he deserved it, or he was
he thought he was moving great. And nobody's seen it. Sir, I see you moving. I've been seeing you move mad. And now I'm going to tell you that you're moving mad. And I'm going to tell you the times you did move mad. But yes, I agree. Like, I think that I've come to a place where, you know, you can't change people. Only God can change people. And so, like, I pray for my dad, pray for my mom, all of that. And, you know, if I talk to my dad, we have good conversations. If we laughing, we laughing. If you want to kick it, you want to see us, whatever we're doing, cool, let's do it. I'm at the point that it is what it is, but not from a place of like defeat, just from a place of peace.
Yeah. That's what I'm at too. Like, I feel like for my dad, it's much more heavier for me, only because I'm a woman, so I can empathize with what my mom went through with divorce, especially being in the Nigerian community. You know, like, honestly, I look up to my mom because she really held it together.
Yeah.
Working, you know, taking care of me, taking care of bills, and
I'm so tired of that narrative, though.
Girl,
I'm so tired of the broken.
Why can't we look up to the fabulous, jet setting, living her best life, being taken care of her husband? Why can't we look? That's going to be us.
The narrative of brokenness, a broken woman being the hero, being the survivor, being the it's like,
it's really ghetto.
Shout out to the moms, shout out to the women, but it's I'm so tired. I would love to hear the narrative of happy home, thriving wife, thriving husband, supportive husband, caring husband, happy wife, happy mother. Like, I don't know, but sorry, go ahead, girl.
No, but that just also goes to show you how much the enemy just really wants to destroy homes, because he knows how it breaks down the fruit, the children, over time. And if you're not able to answer when God is calling, or when God is asking you to come out of that, you just keep reproducing a bloodline of brokenness.
That is so crazy. And I feel like that's also too why in this time and age we are so overwhelmed, because we praying for the parts that our parents missed. We're trying to break curses for the parts that our parents missed.
Our parents. Like, there are people who are fighting 10 generations back of a battle. Like, that's why we so tired.
That's why we're so tired.
That's why I want to sleep all the time. That's why
literally why we're so tired.
Given Sunday on any block, I'm taking a nap. What are you talking about?
That's
what
so
you do
true.
for fun? I sleep because I don't have time to do it.
Yeah, it's just crazy. And you know, we're in a time where I think that this is probably the most honest we are about spirituality. Even though it's the most diverse, it's outwardly diverse, it's been about spirituality. Because you got people, let me be the main character. You got people, the universe. You got people, let's do these tarot readings.
I cannot believe that I was ever the person.
You got the sound healing people.
You
got the beads and the what is it, them stones? What is it called?
Rocks.
The rocks, the sage. You got the people's peopling, okay?
There is a verse in the Bible that explicitly says going to mediums, doing tarot readings is a sin, blatant, hands down, finish.
You cannot tell the new culture of religion that. They'll try and blow you up.
All this universe, and I used to be one of them. But you really got me bent, because I'm not doing that with y'all no more. There's no such thing as universe. Is God, Jesus Christ, that's it.
And you know what's funny? The enemy, the devil, is using the fun culture of it to entice a continuous broken bloodline.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Crazy.
A word. because you're too busy getting caught up in all this fluff and BS. Excuse me.
All the glamour of these rocks and saging.
You're missing how there's a curse of poverty on your bloodline. You're missing how nothing is ever complete. You're missing the patterns. You're missing how there's broken marriages. You're missing how even if you do get married, your first child dies. Like, you're missing these things because you're too busy trying to meditate and thank the universe for something that the universe didn't do.
Come on now. If you do not preach, come on now.
Look.
Come on now.
I listen. I'm so irritated, but I'm fine. But I'm so irritated that I was ever one of those people that be like, oh, you just need to meditate and visualize. Are you aware that when you visualize, you're taking power away from God? You're trying to take power away from God.
People who utter the words that I manifested this,
you're demonic, and I rebuke you.
Y'all are tripping big time.
Big tripping.
Y'all are tripping big time. Look at me tripping over my words. Y'all are tripping big time because you did not manifest anything.
No, you didn't.
It's a part of God's plan, sweetheart. And if it's not a part of God's plan, you're going to see how it wasn't a part of God's plan eventually.
Yeah.
Oh, just so much to be said because now we're going to start preaching about other stuff.
Somewhere else.
Exactly. But man, y'all, divorce is so demonic.
It's very demonic because let's break this down. Marriage is a covenant between man and woman, and God is what? A covenant keeper. So if you go into a covenant, you must complete whatever it is that you went into covenant with him. So when you get a divorce, you're breaking a covenant with the Most High God.
And on top of that, marriage is very purposeful for
sacred.
God because he has a plan for you and your husband, you and your wife joined together as a team for the kingdom. It's not about you.
It's not.
None of this is about us. And
it's
that's
purpose.
The problem when you start saying, I manifested. Because now you made it about you and it's not about you.
Now you the one with the power, huh? Okay. The same way you feel like you got that power is the same way you're going to have to use that same power to figure out how to get out of whatever it is you just...
And you're not going to be able to do it.
You're not going to be able to do it. Because you've relinquished your authority that God gave you to something.
And you took the devil's crumbs. You took his crumbs, not the meal, but the crumbs.
Not even the leftover, the crumbs.
What was at the bottom of his feet?
They ate the leftover, the crumbs that was left over. That's what you want?
What the rat didn't eat, the crumbs.
And that's what you manifested? That's fine.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But let's circle back to...
No, I mean, it's quite very much so related when you get a divorce. And this is another thing that our parents didn't really think about nor care to think about. When you get a divorce, you're destroying so much. Your children will now have to pay for your lack of knowledge, for your lack of understanding,
your lack of obedience,
your lack of
listening to the Holy Spirit, your lack of discernment.
Can you not see this new trend of, oh, if my husband don't do this, I'm just gonna leave him. If my marriage is not like this, I'm just gonna get a divorce. Everybody is so quick to leave. Everybody's quick to give up. Married at First Sight, ultimatums, all these shows just really bringing a mockery to marriage, something that's supposed to be sacred.
You know what though? This is what I will say about that, and I'm about to snitch on myself real quick. I was talking to some dude, and he told me to watch like some movie, and the movie is about this marriage that's like absolutely crazy. It's called like, what was it called? I can't even remember at this time, but I'll put it in the description box so you guys can watch it. So we're dissecting their marriage and how unorthodox and how unhealthy it was. But then I started saying to this person, like, I'm afraid of marriage, and not necessarily the actual marriage. I'm just afraid of what marriage could bring. And I was just talking about how, like, I feel like there are certain things that I will walk away from. And I had to really sit back and reread those messages and really like have a conversation with the Lord, because the marriage that God has for me is going to be fruitful. The marriage that God has for me is going to be peaceful.
Yeah.
The marriage that God has for me is going to be purposeful. So therefore, I don't never need to sit in no fear, because he knew me before I was here. He created my person before I got here. So he knew that they would be perfect for me. And so the trauma from our childhood with our parents divorcing while we were super young, all of that ties into sometimes how I even think about marriage, and separating even just the spirituality of it, and just like, yo, deadass, if you put your hands on me, I'm out.
Leaving. Everything, I'm leaving.
Done.
Oh, you looked at me wrong, I'm leaving.
Done. Deuce.
Oh, you're not gonna listen to me and do what I said, I'm leaving.
Deuce. And we're in a culture where it's like, niggas don't fight for nothing no more. Niggas don't sit down and be like, nah.
Let me be disciplined. People are so focused on self. Like,
but how can they when you don't walk with the Lord? You don't even have proper discernment. You don't even go back and seek what the Lord wants you to do on things. You over here talking to yourself to see what you want to do. Of course you're going to move mad and leave.
Who are you?
You can't see the bigger picture. You cannot see the plan that God has.
We literally, as humans, can only see, even our most expounded thought is such a small speckle of what God has for you. So honestly, the solution is, with parents who have failed you, first, get down on your knees and pray. Cultivate a relationship with God, because there are spiritual things behind that failure that will be exposed to you once you build a relationship with God.
Yes.
There are things behind that failure that will show you your purpose, because it's not by mistake when you go through certain things, specifically with your parents. There's always something tied to your purpose behind that.
Yes.
To let go and let God.
Come on now.
God is the one that's in control of the outcome. God is in control of the door being open. God, what was it? Jerry Flowers, he made this chart that shows you what God is in control of. And we're not in control of how things play out with our parents, because not only did we not create them, God knows exactly how it was going to play out. God knows that they were going to get a divorce. God knows that there was going to be problems. God knows. So you just have to let it go to God. Literally let go and be accepting. In some cases, ask for forgiveness from your parents. Yeah, because there were times where they probably did something to you that made you upset, and now you're sinning against your parents. Even though they're wrong, God can still punish you or put you in a state of confusion because you've come out of his covenant or his protection, because you wanted to be rebellious against your parents because of something they did, when all you literally had to do is be like, okay, parent, all right, dad, all right, mom, no problem, and then just go to God about it.
Yeah.
So for me, I found so much more peace, and just like, honestly, the best way to explain it is peace that I can't explain, nor do I understand. I don't know why I'm so peaceful, but I feel more peaceful because I'm just like, yeah, God got it. Like, oh, you want to call me up randomly for a favor? Cool. If I can do it, I'm going to do it. If I can't, cool. It's fine that you don't ask how I'm doing. It's fine that you don't really care how I'm surviving. Like, I'm Gucci.
And you know what? Sometimes I feel like God uses us to bring our parents closer to him.
Yep.
So when we don't move in a place of anger, we don't move in a place of pain, sometimes that can, and you know, of course, like, our parents aren't the types of, like, they didn't come from a culture of verbalizing their emotions, but
never.
Sometimes it really could have them in a place of where they're like, okay, and now they're reflective and they're thinking. And you may not know, but like, God works in mysterious ways, man. He be giving us assignments that we don't even know it's an assignment. Just go be obedient and do it because I said so. It will make sense later.
When I tell you this year has been a year of do what I said, don't ask me no questions, just do what I said.
Just do what I said.
It really has. Sometimes you literally just have to do what God said.
You just have
not
to.
Really try to.
And sometimes it doesn't even make sense. Even when you're trying to make sense of it, it's because it's for something way later beyond what you could even conceptualize.
It may not even be part of your generation.
It may not. How about you do an assignment from God right now, today, that is hidden 3 generations after you? Can you imagine that you just broke a curse 3 generations from now? And I think that's the thing about Christianity and spirituality, that I think that a lot of people have a hard time coming into, is because they can't physically see what God is doing at this moment, at this very time. I don't see it. So it means that it's not happening. Oh boy. Y'all gonna have to wake up.
Control. That's why everybody's trying to manifest it and thank the universe, because they want to be in control.
And get they sage and they rocks and sound healing, because they think that, oh, I've done something.
You've done nothing. You've done something, all right. No, you definitely opened up some portals. Now you gotta fight that in your sleep. Good luck. Like, it's real. It's really real.
It's really
all
real.
That saging, all those openings, all those watching terror. I'm saying this because it used to be me, and I had to go and repent. I had to go and call God to come and save me. Straight up. Because there are certain things that you do and you're so unaware of the spiritual impact. That's why it's important for you to go to
and that
God.
Impact will not, it doesn't mean that it's going to impact you this year.
Oh, no.
It doesn't mean that it's going to impact you next year. It could be 10 years from now. You be in your 60s and that just smack you across your face. And you sitting here like, God, why?
Stephanie said smack you.
No, I'm being so serious. It'll literally mollywop you in your 60s, and you sitting here like, why am I on the streets at 60? Sir, because you opened a portal when you were 25 and you thought you was so cool. You was doing this tarot reading and this Reiki, and look where it has landed you 40 years from now.
That is so
People think
real.
that they...
That is so real.
That's this goes into a other deep conversation, but just really briefly, like, me having a near-death experience really showed me that I don't got forever. I do not even have tomorrow. If I don't get it together today, I'm gonna be paying for things past these times right now.
All right.
Past these times right now. So yeah, it'll come get you and you think you living your best life, like, oh well, you know, I'm retiring, I'm doing 60, come and smack you. Boom, you have cancer. It was the portal that you opened when you were 25. It was the sage that you was blowing in your house, thinking that you were getting rid of demonic.
That abortion. People really be playing with their lives.
So many things, and it even gets me to even think about, like, even talking about our parents and like their parents. We don't even know. We have no idea what portals they open.
Exactly.
Our parents could be suffering the repercussions of that curse.
Right.
And we're like, damn, like, you showing up real terrible, and it's like, I can't help it.
Right. I'm operating off of something that I'm not even.
And that's why
sure
prayer is key. Because if you as the child, you know how to pray, you know who God is, you really could save your parent. You really could. Because they could rightfully be under a curse. And that's why the way they move don't make no sense. It hasn't made sense in years.
Because it's not supposed to make sense.
It's not.
It's not. You're supposed to just pray about it and let it go to God.
Yeah.
Pray about it and be at peace and trust that God is going to figure it out. You don't have control over it. Because it's not normal. It's not great to have parents who fail you.
No.
That's
and it's not your
normal.
fault.
It's not your fault either.
Because that was my immediate feeling too.
No,
Like,
me
oh,
too.
wow, they're divorcing because of me. But
Yeah.
what did I actually do? I didn't do anything.
And why is it? It's not by mistake that the consistent feeling of every divorced child, like child of a divorced parent, right?
Mm-hmm.
The consistent feeling of a child of a divorced parent is always, it's my fault.
It's because, well,
It's always the reason why, in my opinion. I feel like that's what the enemy uses to sow the seed in the fruit, right? In the children, and then they sow that fruit in their children.
that's deep.
So it just keeps going.
Yeah.
Every bloodline got brokenness in it. Every bloodline has issues in it. Why? Because they thought they were the issue. Before that, they were the issue. Before
that's so deep. Yeah.
And then you go through life being so bloody self-conscious of everything. Because when you were younger, your parents divorced and you thought you were the issue. Now you go through life just overthinking everything. Why? Because you thought you were the issue. That one thought permeated into becoming something that you weren't even supposed to be.
The seed. Sheesh. Yeah, that was powerful. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, do you have any final thoughts?
Very solution-based. So I just want to reiterate.
Okay, professional Destiny.
Okay. I just want to reiterate that the solution is prayer. It's not going to be easy. I hate when people think that walking with God in a true way is supposed to be easy.
It's not easy, y'all. I'm about to tell y'all that right now. It's nothing about it is easy. That's why it's not for the faint.
It's actually easier living.
Yeah, it's easier to be in the world. Yeah. What? I don't have to be conscious about nothing. I don't have to be obedient. I just be obedient to myself. I do what I want to do.
However, there is a different type of peace that you cannot buy, borrow, steal, or get.
Yes.
When you're walking with God.
Yes.
Things will not make sense to you, but you're calm.
Yeah.
Things will not make sense to you, but you're peaceful.
Yeah.
So, solution to parents failing you, pray about it. Go to God in prayer. Cultivate a relationship with God, because He's the only person that's going to be able to comfort you, ease that pain, close those holes that were created, and then reveal to you ways that you can be a repairer of your bloodline.
Yeah.
2, let go.
Let go. Yeah.
You don't have control over any of it. Yeah, they hurt your feelings. Yeah, they didn't want to have lunch with you at IHOP. It's cool. Like, it's fine. Yes, they probably weren't available when you needed them. That's all good. All of those things happen for a reason. Now, let it go so that you can find out what the reasons are. Because you're never going to find out if you're trying to hold on to it. If you want to play God, then what? God doesn't need to be there.
Facts. Love that. To add on to that, I just want to say that when you're praying, be open to restoration, be open to new beginnings, because yeah, you may get a call from your mom, from your dad. Hey, I want to hang out. And it seems really random, but no, it's them prayers that you done broke them bondages, and those evil doors have been closed in your bloodline. And now there is a place for restoration. There is a place for renewal. So be open and actually be expecting God to make profound changes when you pray. Like, be expecting good news, be expecting change in people. And that's all I really got to say. Thank you so much, Destiny, for joining me on this very deep conversation. You guys, make sure you guys subscribe to all of Destiny's channels. I will have them in the description box. Y'all tell her to post on her channels, okay? Because we want to see more of Destiny. Because I know that y'all liked what Destiny had to say, because I love what Destiny has to say. I always do love what you have to say.
I love what you have to say too, Steph.
Thanks. And you guys don't forget to comment, like, subscribe on to Dialogues with Steph. Tell me your favorite parts. Tell me some parts that you relate with. I don't know, any questions you have or just anything you want to share. I appreciate you guys, and clink clank to episode 2.
Yeah.
And I will see you guys next time. Thank you. Oh my gosh.